Okay, so I'm back from my trip. I did update a few things, but not as much as I wanted to. It, they still are going to be updated, like my model, and then the panels. They are currently in the middle of being made and updated. So yeah, I just wasn't able to do as much as I wanted to, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm gonna, well, welcome back to Celeste. I know I've been playing quite a bit on stream recently, but just kind of been enjoying the past few ones. Uh, we're on chapter 5, side B. And yeah, I guess we'll get started then. Funky saxophone man. Hey, not that way yet. And this, yeah, that has a lock on it. I just realized I forgot to turn that off. There you go, now it's not layering. Yeah, as for my trip, I won. It was okay. Wanted to go see my family, but I ended up meeting some new family members, which is usually pretty cool. But I don't know, just there's a lot of stressful stuff going on, so I didn't get enough, like as much rest as I thought I would. Dang it. Had it there. Yeah. Hey, Eamon, it's good to see ya. How have you been? Yeah, that sucks. As I was saying, I was on my family trip, but I didn't get to see as much of my family as I wanted to. Uh, and didn't go as much press as I really wanted to. Did meet some new family members, which was interesting, but there was just a bit of drama that was going on, so wasn't able to spend as much time with some of the people who are getting on in years as I wanted to. But hopefully next time around I can see more of them. Yes, I have become aware and been notified that some people in chat haven't been have been watching other people's streams. I'm your streamer. Can't watch anyone else. That is how it works. And I found a solution to this. Get in. Go on. There's a door there. Get in. You're not allowed to leave. That'll just stay back there. You want out? No. You get out if you work for it, okay? If you work hard, you can get 5 seconds of sunshine before I send you back to the mines. Hey, I'm not putting you in prison. Just know if you ever want to see your friends and family again, you better stay loyal. Okay? And by the way, you can blame Coco for this. She was the one I saw, okay? And I'm punishing the whole class for this. You must understand. Yeah. I had this like the very first, like the second time I did this room, but then I completely lost my capability of doing it. Just remember one way to do this room and never try anything else. Yeah, stubbornness is a thing that I do get a lot of. But which is really strange because I'm annoyed by stubborn people. Mainly because, like, growing up, my family would always be stubborn against me. Probably just be better if I wait for it. Yeah, I hope that everyone's week has been well. that and flail until I find one way, then just memorize it. Yeah. I know what to do, it's just doing it consistently is a problem. Because for some reason my brain thinks it's handy to be like, oh no, you already did that, you don't need to do the same thing again. Then let's try something we haven't tried ever before. And by that I mean try the exact same thing that made us fail 20 times already. I'd already just like decided what the best route was, and it wasn't what I was doing. So just need to remember what I'm trying to do. Oh, that reminds me, I moved the light in my room, so now I can actually see. So I'm gonna claim that all the times I've ever died is because I couldn't see anything but the screen, and it was too bright and bad for my eyes. Or something plausible sounding to do with that. So now I should just be godlike at the game. Or, you know, I'll still be just as bad, but yeah, eyes are overrated. Oh, that reminds me, so I actually have an eye story. Uh, it's not that long or interesting, but I almost stabbed a kid's eye out once. I did actually stab their eye, but it was completely on accident, I swear. It wasn't intentional. I was trying to show this one kid back in the day, I think it was second grade, either that or first grade, and I was trying to show them how sharp a pencil was. I was like, hey, look at the tip. I wasn't being a psycho, I swear. I was just wondering. I was just thinking like, hey, look how like small and refined the tip is. That's so cool. So yeah, I accidentally hit their eye. And I don't think they wanted to be friends with me after that. But you know, what a wimp, right? Like back in my day, you just stood there and got your eye poked out. and around that age, there's been a mark on my knuckles ever since. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but just like that's led to, for some reason, left a dark mark. Hey, you got a tattoo. Okay, got a tattoo in like first grade. If you never told your parents, they must be freaking out. Yeah, like I know we're soft and squishier when we're younger, but what's the deal with us getting like more scars when we're younger? I mean, that could just be a bit of a flawed data set, because uh, like I was a lot clumsier as a kid. But I don't know. Tried to open a golf ball with a knife. Well, actually, that doesn't sound too bad. Uh, yeah, it can go not well really easily, but that kind of makes sense. Is there not like a bunch of sand inside those, or am I thinking of something else? Some kids should not be trusted. I was a very trustworthy kid. Okay, and I still am trustworthy. But, you know, when you say you're trustworthy, people don't trust you. This is another springy material? Okay. Because I know there's one type of ball that's filled with sand, but I'm not sure which one it is. Yeah, like, I will admit, I was a bit of a teacher's pet. Not intentionally, though. Just happened that way because I always felt really bad whenever I did something I wasn't supposed to. How many organs do I want? All of them, please. Yeah, I'm currently hunting for the crystal hearts, and I need as many as I can get. $3.99. Put it on my tab. Yeah, trust me, I'll be good for it at some point in time. Yippee! Okay, that way is blocked, so that didn't really do much, but... Okay, this way. I do remember that, like, I'm just relatively trustworthy, but nobody actually trusted me as a kid for some reason. First time playing 5P. It is, I have played through the rest of the game up to this point, but I haven't been, like, I'm trying to get the hearts for the ending. So yeah, for 8B or Chapter 9? I did not know you needed any hearts for B side of 8, but Chapter 9, I've gotten, like, to the false ending of Farewell, and it just said I needed a bunch of hearts, and apparently, yeah, the B sides are the way to do it. Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, do I have all the A-side hearts? Yes, I do. That was something I did a couple weeks ago. I don't want to get on the other side of that. Yeah, as I was saying, I'd like to think I was a pretty good kid. I do remember one time though, someone like put a napkin on my plate during lunch. Somewhat concerning notice at the top. Oh, I actually completely forgot that was there. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying that milk can be very nutritious. Thank you for the offer. I do not do AI VODs. Yeah, I'm trying to. No, not reply. And I just exited out of everything. Great. Where am I? Professional streamer, by the way. There we go. Yeah, I'm just saying. That the thing in the top right was from a bit a few streams ago. Pretty much, I want to know whether male milk is different from female milk because of the where that bot is so annoying, yeah. But I want to know if male milk is different from female milk because of like the testosterone and biological differences. So that's what the thing up there is for. It's not weird, I'm just curious. Okay, it was an intrusive thought I had. Don't act like it's weird that I am going to go ahead and try and feed people man milk. Because men can lactate. Okay. They can definitely at least have developed mammary glands. I know I do personally. That might be a bit TMI, but too bad this is my stream. Yes, it is possible. So the plan is get a bunch of people, pump them full of estrogen, and then milk them all. And see if there's any difference. I'm a scientist. There's nothing weird about it unless you make it weird. Don't worry though, if anyone's uncomfortable with it, I have a few ideas to make it better. Like, man milk science? Yes, exactly, man milk science. Also, just imagine like going up to your bro and saying, hey, have my man milk. Is that not funny? Oh. Well, then now I have no milk. But hey, it's fine. We'll get some for you. If everyone's uncomfortable, we'll allow them to decline. Yeah, I have some ideas to make it better. Like, if you're not comfortable with it, everyone likes games, right? We can make it more fun for everyone. So, we make it like a game show for it. Okay? And what we do is we have like a roulette wheel and a bunch of shots with everybody's milk in it. And then when we spin the wheel, we check to see, okay. We check to see who it lands on, and then whoever it lands on, people have to guess whose milk it is based off of how it tastes. Because it tastes different depending on your diet. So, you know, everybody loves games. That should make it fine, right? There's nothing wrong. It's a perfectly natural thing. Okay? It can happen in nature. I checked. Like, think about it like this. Single dads that aren't able to produce milk for their young. So we could test to see whether it's a viable option. Yeah, I told my family that the other day, and they were a bit weirded out by it. I don't really get why, though. It's for science. I'm not being a weirdo. No, my family's still, well, my family, they took it the wrong way. Okay, this is a perfectly innocent man milking discussion. Nothing wrong with that. one of the main things is that I don't know how to bring up to people like, yeah, I want to get milked. Like, by the way, this was something that I thought of when I was having an allergy attack and was extremely medicated. So, like, if you couldn't tell, but like, I'm just really curious. There's nothing wrong with it. It might be time to take your leave. You can leave if you want to. I'm not necessarily going to talk about this. I don't really have much else to say about it, but yeah, if you need to go, feel free to go. Get some rest, get some food, get some water, all that stuff. Taking care of yourself is what's most important. Not actually locked in the basement. Yeah, well, they didn't fall. They can still get out. When you follow, you sign a contract for life. It's in the fine print. You can't see it because it's on an atomic level, but it says you will be forced to be in the basement if, and all your rights will be revoked. But only if you follow. Only if you follow. I'm not a monster. Your exceptions removed your unfollow button. Exactly. And hey, what's so wrong with the basement? Yeah, okay, that's perfectly fine. I have a bit of a rough time setting a filter on myself, so if I ever go over like any start blind, please let me know. Yeah, the basement isn't that bad. Okay, you have water dripping down, and it creates some nice mold. People pay good money for mold. Mushrooms are in very high demand for food. Yeah, like I get it. You're fine. I I just yab about stuff, and like I said, I have very little filter on me, so I can go on about really weird stuff sometimes. Okay, I'll tell you what. If you guys are good chatters, in the basement, I'll put in a rat so that you have a friend. Yes, the rat will be hungry and will also have the the urge to eat human flesh, but yeah, it's a pretty cool rat. Okay. Where does that one go? Oh yeah, speaking of rats, one of my old schools had, like, I think it was upper elementary school. I don't know what it's called in other places, but not secondary school, because that's the same as middle school. But anyway, they had stouts, which are kind of like rats, but not. Was it upper elementary? No, it was lower elementary, so like first through third grade. Anyway, but they weren't that great. Apparently they got into the kitchen, and we all made food there, so I don't think the teachers cleaned it up after that. This wasn't the school that was, like, really concerning, but there were some concerning stuff in it. This was my Irish school, and what happened there is that they made the great decision to, with all the children around, put some rat poison for the stout in, like, the dirt in the play area. I ate it because I think eating dirt's a pretty normal thing to do as a kid. And yeah, I got very sick from it. Funnily enough, though, the doctors weren't able to figure out what it was, and I had to figure it out on my own. Because they thought it was meningitis for some reason. I don't know how that came across. What do I do there? Back and have food? Okay, no. What, you're fine. I hope you enjoy your food. I was just talking about how when I lived in Ireland as a kid, my school had to put rat poison for stouts in the dirt, and I was a kid who ate dirt, which I think is a pretty normal thing to do. At like first, second grade age. But yeah, I got really sick from that. Wasn't that fun of a time. Oh yeah, on my break I got to see my first shooting star. That was really cool. I am an astrophysicist major, but I wasn't... I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. Oh, I'm supposed to go back. Rocks are yummy? Yes, they are. I'll get to that in a second because it is kind of related to this. Unfortunately, there wasn't any like meteorites that fell in my area, but like it was really cool because I had really bad luck with shooting stars. I'd like always turn my back whenever someone would point one out or like blink at the exact moment, and I just had never seen one. So it took like 3 meteor showers and staying out all night in order for me to finally see one. Yeah. So yes, rocks are yummy. Study astronomy yourself? Watching Perseus the other day? Yeah. That was the one where I finally got to see my first meteor shower, like my first shooting star. Yeah. Rocks do taste like rocks are tasty. Currently every single pellet isn't lethal, but would recommend eating it. Hey, because you said that, I'm going to say this story again. Back in days of yore, when I was just starting to, I was just starting to study. Yeah. What happened is that I got to see a collection of meteorites, which were pretty cool. That being said, looks like some neurotoxins, which doesn't sound good. It is fine. But I'm fine. But that might be why I started getting bad grades after this. But anyway, so as part of the experience of their meteorite collection, they allowed us to like hold a piece of the moon and a piece of Mars. Pretty cool. And how do I say this? They were a little bit crumbly. Haberdashing? No. I don't know any terminology or anything like that. This is my first time playing. Yeah, they're a little bit crumbly, so a little bit of dust came off in my hands. Yeah, turns up ground up moon rocks are pure poison. And that's when I thought it was a brilliant idea. You know what nobody's ever done before? So I ate them. To which, again, when I told my family, they were all very concerned that I'd get like some sort of alien disease. Because there's no precedent for it. Well, I'm sure there's a precedent like somewhere in history, but it's not like it's a well-known thing like, oh yeah, you ate Mars rocks. Oh. Pretty good for portals. I get that reference. I get that one. Yeah. So, I had a piece of lunar and Martian mass inside of me, technically making me the very first Martian and Lunarian. And the thing is that, yeah, that's a felony. And like I told people who were supposed to be watching it, they did not believe me. And that's how I found out as long as the crime is funny enough, they'll let you get away with it. You can get away with anything just as long as you're funny enough. Yeah, a few days went by, and unfortunately, I did not get any superpowers to my knowledge. Although some classmates were convinced that I would. Fed this kid space debris as a joke. No, they didn't feed it to me. I took it myself. I'm a proactive person. Okay. Back in my day, we didn't just have these things handed to us. Yeah, and then ever since then, for some reason, I get flagged at like PSA. Don't know why. It shouldn't have any sort of relevance because, like, unless it made me like emit radio waves, which I doubt, but it would be very funny. So I'm gonna keep up with saying that it makes me emit radio waves. Yeah, and then, do you know about the winged goldenberry? No, I don't. What's that? Okay, well, alright. But I'm also the first interplanetary criminal because that is an international interplanetary felony. Secret that basically impossible to know unless you use debug mode or hear about it from someone else. Okay. Wait, is it that thing where you need to beat the game without touching the floor? Is that what it is? Only two? What? Didn't know there are any. Dr. 1 A-side dashless? Okay, that is worse than I thought. Or is it? I'm not quite sure. Like, that actually sounds more doable than it. Not deathless. Okay, good, because I would be stuck there forever if I tried it. Very fun challenge, actually. I might try that out someday. Not at the moment, because I'm currently ramming my head against this wall, but I might try that at some point. When is the only chapter you can double golden? Again, I don't know what terminology is for it, so you might as well just be saying, like, you could say anything like, oh, the flooperdinkle strawberry. Of course. And I'd be none the wiser. Other one is deathless? Oh, okay. That would make sense. I'm nowhere near that level, I don't think. Don't disrespect the flipper dangle. I am disrespecting the flipper dangle. Deal with it. Okay? Until the flipper dingle comes into my house and takes my family, I don't need to put any respect on them. What has a flipper dingle ever done for me, huh? There we go. Sending my coordinates to the flipper dingle. Flipper dingle doesn't have the guts to do anything. Flipper dingle is weak. Okay, I see. Telling it you said that? Good. Good to know. After what it's done? I'm only telling the truth, okay? If it gets mad at me for that, then that's on them. There we go. Okay, there's probably a, yep. Probably above there. Oh boy, what do we have here? I was gonna say, oh, that's not too bad, but then... What is going on here? Why are there two? So you haven't heard what I did to the Dupelflingle? Well, cancel me if you want. Okay? Like, after my experiences with the Dupelflingle, I think it's fine. I have connections. Not necessarily connections that are any good and I could use, but They're still there. You'll simply pity me for what's coming? You don't need to pity me. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. The duper flink. Now my mouth's getting tied up. Wait, how did I get over here? I wasn't paying attention to the screen. Yeah. Let them come. Okay? They don't scare me. There we go. Uh-oh. I am honestly not looking forward to this section of this where I have to carry Theo. Which I'm guessing there is because it's supposed to be a like revamp of the entire level. No, I'm trying to be fancier with it now and I keep on dying. Maybe I should just go back to what I've been doing. Oh. Okay. That's good. Seemed like you're enjoying 7C because it hurts. Hey, listen. There is a second part to that sentence. And I remember what it is. But, you know, just because I want to make sure you know, do you mind telling me so I know you understand? No? Okay. No, I don't like to suffer, I don't have great hand-eye coordination. don't know what it is, but the spikes always make me so hungry. I'm pretty sure that is probably some sort of speedrun tech, but I probably use it incorrectly. Who keeps buzzsaws in their temples these days anymore? Back in my day, we didn't have those. We just had people who swung swords around in a circle. Yeah, make sure you take care of yourself. Thanks for stopping by. If you want to see more of my stuff, consider following so that you get notified when I do end up streaming, but no pressure to either way. Make sure you take care of yourself. Have a good night. There we go. Yay! Yippee! Hold on. But this is just a falling thing. I suck at these types of things. Oh well. I think I did get past it by just falling, but I'm not sure if that's the intended way. Hmm. There's something like that. Yeah, I do hope the audio's coming through. Okay, I did end up dropping my headset earlier, so might be a little off than usual. I think I'm probably supposed to do something like that. Oh, well, that's an interesting way to do this. The problem is that the saxophone is really soothing, so I feel like I don't have to do much. So like, you know how lobsters don't age? There are a few things like that, like lobsters, and then I think alligators are also the same. I've always wanted to like see how far that can go, you know, like because it'll just keep on growing and growing. I want to be able to have a kaiju battle between a lobster and an alligator. I just think it's cool. Like, Who do you think would win? Giant lobster or giant alligator? Probably giant alligator, but like that's the side I'm on. But it would be really interesting and really funny. Mm-hmm. Aw, that was almost it. Sorry about that. Someone had come in to check on me, and I didn't realize that I forgot to unmute. I was just talking about different marine animals. The reason why I was on the topic of marine animals is that these tentacles just reminded me of octopi. I do want to at some point try takoyaki, or just octopus in general. Because my sister's allergic, I was never allowed to have any, and since becoming an adult, I just haven't gotten around to it. Because like the opportunity hasn't really presented itself. I mean, got like sushi and stuff, but sushi can be really expensive, and I like what I like. You ever find it weird that we eat things like eggs? Like, I don't know. It's just a bit strange. I mean, I love eggs, but because like I was thinking of like roe and whatnot, which I'm like I'm iffy on. But like chicken eggs are really good. So I don't really get a lot of the vegetarian stuff. Like, yeah, no, it can be healthier for you. Like, power to you, and I won't like actually diss you for choosing that because whatever you're comfortable with. But I will make jokes because sometimes it is funny. But anyway, so a member of my family had become vegetarian, and recently, and it was for the whole like animals aren't food sort of thing, which okay, like you do you, man, but my question is why doesn't that same stuff extend to like plants? And when I asked that, the answer was because then what am I supposed to eat? To which I don't know, you're making stuff for one and not the other. It's just a bit weird to me. Yeah, it's really weird, at least to me, that when we eat plants, like 99% of the time, would be the equivalent of eating like balls. Because it is the reproductive organ, or like pregnant person. I know that's a bit of a messed up visual, but so I know only the pregnant part of the woman. I can't remember who it was, but there was this one book I read where So it's like, are we sure aliens would be like, if they took a snapshot of humanity on our planet base, they'd be like freaked out. Like, do you think Groot tastes good? It's like cinnamon and whatnot. What type of tree is he? Does anyone know? Because I don't. Uh, it's like, surely. Wait, does Groot have protein? Would Groot have protein? If I were to throw Groot into a smoothie, what exactly would the nutritional content be? Would it be like eating oat? Because I've ate oak bark before. Tastes good. I don't know why, but I've like always been one to have the forbidden snacks. I ate like everything as a kid. Like more so than usual. Okay, I think that was it, but I messed up at the end there. You know, someday I'll get past this first room. Hate how they wiggle and are inconsistent. While I'm remembering it, I should probably get rid of this. Nope. My touchpad's being weird. Nope. I don't even know what that is, but nope, we'll just put that over there. There we go. I really need to stop dashing there. Yeah, I just don't know what it is about this game that makes me hungry. Like all the bright colors, but they'd be so good. I can't tell if it's like runes or goop. The green stuff looks like it would taste incredible. Am I the only one thinking that? I might be. Like, why does pixel art, I want to say, pixel art specifically looks so tasty? If I were to have to say what the best and worst thing about traveling would be, it would probably be the food. Because on the one hand, you get to have a lot of like interesting local cuisine. However, if you end up staying for a while, you will end up missing some of the food that you're used to. That for me, that was very specific in Ireland, because from what I hear, they're a little better on it. But Ireland used to have like no spice on anything. Like their hot sauce might as well have been ketchup. Yeah, I just remember when I finally managed to get the like actual spicy stuff imported from a friend. It ended up getting so on. Yippee! Hey. Nope. Okay, he backed up. Yeah, I need another dash for that. It just... That's because they cycle that dude. Like farm that dude for dashes, but... Yeah, sorry if I'm being a bit quiet. So like getting over jet lag and stuff like that. There we go. Come on. No! That was so slow. Come on. Hey, Kugoroi. Great. So, I heard that you went to someone else's stream. Yep. You traitor. You see, we don't take traitors lightly over here. So we found a bit of a solution. Get in. Go on. Door's unlocked. No, you don't get to back out of this. No, either you go in, or you wake up in there. Can't back out if I never agreed. Fair enough. Jokes aside, though, I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good week. You're a little bit tired? Fair enough. Yeah, I'm still a little jet lagged from my trip. It wasn't that big of a time difference either. It was just, I don't know. Venus chapter Deathless a few days ago. Good job, man. That sounds really hard. Yeah, I don't know why. Planes just make me sleepy. I mean, I guess it's because probably something to do with how much I've traveled, like overnight. But there we go. Okay. Yeah, no, I need to wait for that dude so I can jump on him. Like that. Oh, great. Jump a remix featuring your boy, Mixmaster Theo. Theo, I hope you burn. Get streaked? I don't think that quite means what you think it means. Poor Theo? Nah. He kinda deserves it. In almost every picture he takes, Madeline looks incredibly scared. What's the issue with streaking? I'm not quite sure how to respond to that. Yeah, I do not care that much for the Theo crystal levels. Like, I know we're just talking about innocent viewing experience, but like, dude, that means I think you need to look up what that means. Come on. I don't even need to jump on that guy. Streak by definition is unbroken chain when their losses, therefore getting streak means... Yeah, clearly, sorry, you know. You're right, my mind was in the gutter. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, apparently though, like, I don't know why I started that sentence like that. It doesn't even make English sense. But anyway, I've never really done anything like that. Uh, I really don't know where it's going with that. I said that like it was the start of a conversation, but wait, wait. Aww. Theo, can you get out of the way? Do I even need Theo? What if I just... Dang it. You know, back in my day, we didn't have to take anyone on icebergs. They didn't exist yet. Uh-oh. Okay. It does make me wonder though, why is it called streaking? It's like, there's no streak of anything, unless it's like you're becoming the streak. But that sounds more like a superhero, like the streak. I would not let my kids near the streak though. I mean, I don't have any kids, but if I did, I would not let them near the streak. He does not seem like a trustworthy dude. It also sounds like he's physically dirty. Uh, okay, so that's what I'm supposed to do. I swear to God, Theo, if you don't start pulling your own weight. I know you're trapped in a crystal block, but that's no excuse. You're acting like this is the first time you've been carried out in a containment device. Yeah, before you say like, oh, he's trapped, oh, he can't do anything. Uh, I myself am incapable of leaving my place of residence unless I'm shipped in a box. It is very strange. So now this, I'm a little confused on how to do. Ah! Yeah, I, I do say yeah, blank a lot as like filler for no reason. Like I don't know if anyone else does this, but just when talking, I constantly say yeah, no. Like, even when I agree with someone. I don't know, it's just a weird habit I have. Does anyone else do stuff like that? I don't know, it might just be a bit strange. Yeah, yes, no, 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 yeah, yes, yeah, no, no, yeah, no, yeah, yes, no, yeah, no, no. Logic really is simple. Yeah. But sometimes it means the opposite, you know? It's purely off of vibes, and then sometimes it's just like, I'm acknowledging what you're saying, and that's it. Then the logic is straight up wrong. Yeah. I don't get how, like, people learn this stuff by themselves. Like, social cue stuff. It's always been really confusing to me, which has led to, like, a bunch of issues, but... There we go. This isn't a... Why would this be a cannon? Yeah, and then... I've always struggled with, like... I don't know how to say this correctly, I'm gonna mess this up. I just hope you know, but... I always struggled with, like, understanding gender norms. Because... Yeah, I don't really see that much of a difference as to why things should be. Yeah, most of my friends growing up were female, uh, which I later found out was because everyone thought I was gay, else they wouldn't be friends with me, which I think is silly. Yeah, I just don't know what it is about that that kind of gives that I don't like it when people assume that kind of stuff. There we go. Yesn't? Oh, I see. Yeah, like, school trips. Because I was like, yeah, no, let's separate the boys and the girls' sleeping areas. Does anyone actually know why they did that? Because, like, how it was explained to me was, it was because, like, oh, well, you know, those youngins will have impure thoughts. But, like, what age? Like, middle school? Well, just like any age. Really, that was a thing. But yeah, but what about gay people? Like, they're just acting like they don't exist whatsoever. Like, I'm just imagining that some kid's like, I have no problem with this. I don't know, I've just never gotten a lot of it. Yeah, I was thinking middle school specifically because I do remember asking why, because, like I said, most of my friends growing up were female. Yeah, it, I know it's like a majority thing, but I don't get why I can't, like, have sleepovers with my friends, because I'm a dude. Like, I never got why that was a thing. I always felt like I was being left out because of that, but... Oh, can't? Apparently, like, the norm was like, oh, it's icky if boys and girls have a sleepover. Yeah, and then among my male friends, none of them ever asked me for, now that I think about it, it's never actually invited to any parties or sleepovers, huh? Boys having sleepovers seem fine? I was just never invited. I guess it's not a thing everyone did. Yeah. But I it's always one of those things that when like people talk about it, I just sit there and like I totally have stuff to talk about with this. Yeah. I'm not gonna give any details, but pretty much the main thing of why I was never invited to anything wasn't like people hated me. I'm apparently just like really forgettable. Like people don't even realize that I'm not there. Which is really weird thing to hear, but it also does let me get away with a lot. Only that you've been remarkable, buddy, that I hate to break it to you, that's nothing. Until someone doesn't realize that you've been in their room for 3 hours straight, I don't think you're near the same level. There we go. This one's clearly impossible. Oh god. What the? This is a room that even people on assist mode will fail. Oof. You know, I don't know how to turn on assist mode. I probably need to go out, but sit. Window mount. Yeah. No. Friend. Oh, okay. I assume it is possible with invincibility, but he does need to go on the ledge on the right. Yeah. And the way to victory makes sense for this sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why people think like that. That I'm that unremarkable. I've been told it's just like a quality I have. Don't watch men with assists. That's completely fair. Yeah, I seem to be like fairly NPC coded for like people noticing me. Like, and I mentioned it before, it's either that or they'll think I'm really creepy. Like, even if I haven't done anything, they'll just suddenly be like, nope. Yeah, and that isn't like a thing you can do where you can then say, no, you can trust me, because when you say that, you don't sound trustworthy. I've straight up had someone tell me that I looked like their sleep paralysis demon. That was a creative one. Others included, oh, you look like you're about to rob this place any second. I was just wearing a normal outfit at that time. I asked why. Again, I don't know. Just something about you. And then the remaining third are people who find me attractive. And it's a shame because they're almost exclusively gay men. And I don't swing that way. I think there's some dropped frames, not sure. Let me check my bitrate. Okay, now it looks like it dipped for a second, but it should be fine. Hopefully it's still going properly. Yeah, no, it looks like it's good now. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. I don't really know what I can do about it, but there we go. Not much you can do unless there's something else. Hey, we made it to the last room. Why do I have to carry Theo in this room? Yeah, other explanations I got is that, like, yeah, you just kind of look like you'd be a murderer. Like, who talks like that? Why have people just decided like that's a regular thing to say? There we go. Yippee! Theo collect. I don't need to see him ever again. Anyway. Whoa. Yeah, get ready to hear a lot of woo-lo-lo-lo-lo-lo-lo. There's a way to change Kevin's sound to renaming the save to Fwahaha. That's pretty fun. I think I'll keep it as Wolololo though. Right, I can pull him that way. That's just a silly laugh. Is this not a silly laugh? Okay, I know. It is just take your buddy for a walk. There we go. Okay, feather time. Yeah, I'd say one of the most creative things I've ever been called, like referred to, not necessarily called, but compared to about the same vibes I give, and apparently how I look to some people, is the SCP Shy Guy, if you know that one. Which I'm like, okay, fair. I'm a tall, lanky fellow. Yeah. I have like a weird generational gap thing with everybody, and I don't really know like what to do about it. I mean, there's not really a lot I can do about it, but like I was raised similar to how the generation before me was, like with most of the same sort of media. So like I have a hard time talking to people about my age. Uh, and then like my parents had children pretty late, so that did contribute to it. There we go. Oh boy. What do we have here? Okay. That isn't too bad. Yeah, because then it's always like stuff like, oh yeah, no, you should have. Like back in the day, I was like, you should play with kids your age. The kids that were my age are boring. Like, no offense to people of that generation, but like, I don't know. It didn't really work out well. And then in addition to that, like, uh, the area I was in, like, I grew up a lot in Ireland, which I'm not sure how it is now, but I wouldn't say they're behind in the times. It's just it's different sort of culture that is like culture came to them at a different point in time. Not that they're behind on it, but yeah, I'm rambling, probably not making much sense, but that definitely didn't help at all. And all I need to do for this room is just, as always, a matter of just making myself do it. No. These guys are going ham though. There we go. I'm so used to there being secrets. Feels weird when there isn't one. Okay, that's pretty funky. Yeah, that one's a bit rough. Ow. Ow. What? 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 Okay, so I just saw a different way I could do this. Starts the same, but yeah, I dash over there. No, okay, just get a bit of a different angle on that and we're good. Yeah, something you might notice about me is that my voice does tend to fluctuate levels a lot. It's not something I do consciously. It's like sometimes it's conscious, but because I have a deeper voice than most, I had learned to speak in higher pitches so that people could hear me. So if you hear my voice fluctuating whatsoever, I just want to make it apparent that I'm not necessarily faking a voice. It's just me trying to speak, and it's just a habit I've got. So close. Oh yeah, I keep on going, oh, like I have something to say, but partially because I feel like I have to say something, even though I know I don't. No, sometimes we could just like exist. And we don't have to say a wacky thing. Okay. How did I miss that platform? I do need to get the side of that in order to continue. I miss Wolololo guy. I was expecting to have more of him, but fair enough, I guess. There we go. The hell? Okay, so we bounce off there, grab that, loop around, bounce off there again, jump over there, bounce off there, over here, drop down, go up. What? Okay, so I no longer miss the Wolololo guys. Thing is that that feather doesn't respawn. Okay then. I appear to have a problem. I think I'm supposed to do something to that effect. Yeah, I need to be fast enough for that. But man, yeah, I'm tired today. So close that time. Probably go for a drink. What did I cling onto there? Gonna get to the end of this and it's not even gonna be the end. Sometimes it just doesn't jump. I'm telling you to jump. Believe me. There we go. What the? thing is, like, is there even a... I didn't see any... Oh, there's a keystone. Boy. This is somehow Theo's fault, I'm sure of it. I can totally go that high. The background vocals go, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah. I'd at least like to get to a checkpoint, because I haven't actually seen any. Yeah, so what I'm gonna play after Celeste, I'm not really sure. I do have a few spooky games that I'm gonna play in October, but that's still like a month off. I continue with my Ace Attorney series. Like either that or Terraria, maybe? Mm. Yeah. I'm not gonna play Amari. I tried playing that, it did too much for me. Oh, lo, 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 lo. Okay, that did not work the way I wanted it to. Excuse me? I had walking on, but okay. Yeah, I can tell I've been on a break because my throat's a bit not used to talking as much anymore. Words, English, I know and do well. Nope. That was it. I had it. Um, hey, 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 Better be something past this. Like a checkpoint or something. I need to feel the endorphins rush. Ugh. There we go. Yippee! Okay, there we go, there's that, and now we go for the boss fight. Okay, so far so good. Caves really are underrated. Like, I haven't been in many, but they tend not to look like this, unfortunately. Like, where did God leave the whimsy, huh? Okay, I see what we're doing here. I'm overthinking it now. I know I've said this like 50 times already, but this game's just really pretty. I don't know if I need my dash there, so I might... Nope, I think I need the dash. Long hair is like pretty hard to deal with. Like, I'm just remembering this because of the retreating hair line on screen. But yeah, it gets real tricky to deal with. But the thing is that like, I know I'd regret it if I cut my hair, so I don't. But yeah, no, it can go really bad. Something they don't really tell you is like I've talked to some friends who had various different hairstyles back in the day about this, and across the board that they're like, yeah, no, that does happen. Is that if you have like something like dreadlocks or something where there's an area that's unbrushed for a little bit, it will start growing stuff, which is nasty. So yeah, definitely take care of your hair. You know this. Okay then. There we go. Yep. This got so much more enjoyable again now that I'm not stuck on that one part. There we go. I made it. I made it. I swear, game, you have to believe me. It's real. I did it. There we go. This part isn't so bad. I say dying. Yeah, since there's so many crystals around this place, I'm just going to talk about crystals for a little bit. So my favorite crystal is calcite. Because of the cool thing you can do with the sun. For those who don't know, back in... Geez, I don't remember when it was exactly, but back in Viking times, because it was a Viking to use this. Oh, I see now. Sorry. Anyway, back in Viking times... If you had a block of calcite, the Vikings figured out that if you put a mark on it and raise it up to the sun, you could figure out where the sun is, even if it was cloudy out, which was a huge thing for like navigation. Fortunately, it didn't really go anywhere else. But so with that, that's how they managed to get to the Americas. Is that they could finally figure out where they're going during all the storm. Unfortunately, though, there's a lot of stuff like the Vikings did that never got found out a much later in history. I'm not exactly sure why, but I have a bit of a theory that's just for whimsy, which is that one of the things about Vikings is that even back then it was like being a Viking was a hot thing. Like I don't know, it was an attractive fantasy to be like, oh, I'm with a Viking or a woman. And one of the main reasons for that was because they actually showered and they wore perfume. So I'm just imagining these like medieval peasants being like, they're stealing our wives and daughters. Meanwhile, they don't like the stank. Ha! But anyway, so because of that, because the guys didn't want their woman around Vikings because they go off with them because, you know, they didn't smell absolutely horrendous. My theory is that that's why there's so much disconnect between the knowledge. Yeah, that's something I like to do sometimes is just, I don't know if humanize is the right word, but like come up with other explanations for history that historical events I find funny. Is that a weird thing to do? I don't know. It helps to like weed out through all the bad stuff that happened in history. Not that that isn't important, but like you want to know the good with the bad, and it can make it a bit easier to like have all that bad in your brain if you try to. I don't know what the right word for it is, but if you just try to, yeah. If you try to make history more enjoyable for yourself, then it can be easier. Yippee! Oh, fuck on. So bounce up here, grab that, try to bounce up there, fail, Do this again. Get hit by a laser. Do the exact same thing again with no room for error. Wait, what? Okay, well apparently that... Well, thankfully this should be the last light. Area of the chapter. I understand what I've got to do.